It's the wind mode, the radar looking at wind going toward the radar, wind going away from the radar, right near Briggs. Right here, we've got what is an indication of some rotation. And that rotating thunderstorm is moving in a now direction that is southeast. So we have two distinct areas that are rotating within Burnett County. Both of them north of Briggs, both of them north of Florence, but both could be heading into that area here in the next 20 to 30 minutes. And we're talking about baseball-sized hail indicated by the radar. The motion of this storm is southeast at 18 miles per hour. And the way it appears right now, heading into Florence, you are going to see not only some torrential rain, but possibly some hail and possibly a rotating thunderstorm. If you're in a mobile home in Florence and you can get into a more sturdy shelter now, I do it. I would get into that sturdy shelter. If you're in the Florence area, if you're in the Briggs area, if you're a little to the north of either spot, and you're able to get into your safe spot, this is the time to do it. We've got two thunderstorms that may be producing a tornado. We have reports or photos from National Weather Service spotters that we've had tornadic activity in both Burnett and Lampasas counties. We want you in the most substantial shelter you can get. And I know it sounds silly. Throw a blanket over yourself, get into the closet, get into the bathroom, go into the bathtub, and put the helmet on the kids. If you're in Austin, this is not affecting you at the moment. If you're in Georgetown, Round Rock, Cedar Park, it's not affecting you at the moment. But this is a nasty, severe supercell thunderstorm that has a tornado warning attached to it. And what we're seeing is rotation within the storm. You get a watch out. Simple. Have your plan. Conditions are favorable. We're upgraded that. We've gone from the watch now to the warning. This is an event that's occurring. The radar is telling us the storm is strengthening. The radar is telling us that we have rotation within the storm. So we're taking the action now, and we want you in the safest place you can be. Fox 7 WAP, you may lose power, you may lose your PC, your laptop internet. You can get it on the phone. NOAA Weather Radio works as well, even if the power is out, assuming it's battery operated, which most are. Lowest level of your home, walls between you and the storm, as many as possible. 2x4 moving 100 miles per hour is going to go through a mobile home and through a window and through conventional drywall as well. Cover yourself up with a blanket and get to the sturdiest spot you can find. Here's the map for warnings. We have several thunderstorms that are producing some big rains and some lightning and some hail, but the reason we are staying with this storm is this one right here in parts of Burnett, now Williamson counties, which may have a tornado attached to it. It may be a storm that is producing a tornado, maybe multiple small tornadoes out of this. We've got no indication that at the moment there's a tornado on the ground. What we have indication of is rotation in the atmosphere. We have indication that this storm may still intensify shortly and bring a tornado. Williamson and Burnett counties are both under the gun for seeing this. We've got team coverage. Adelie Rowe, meteorologist. She works the weekend morning shows and comes in anytime we've got severe weather. And today's one of those days.
Yeah,
she's with us.
It is, and happy to be here, but unhappy. This is the reason why. We definitely don't want to see severe weather, but it is that time of year, and we do have a tornado warning in place. So this is impacting both Burnett and a little bit of Williamson. We were keeping an eye on this same cell over in Lampasas, and there have been images of funnel clouds. So could this be producing a tornado? Absolutely. We have that tornado warning. Make sure that you are staying inside. Looks like most of that energy is just to the north of Briggs. So if you live in Briggs, if you live in Florence, make sure that you are in your tornado safe space. That's the most interior room, lowest floor of your house, away from doors and windows. I know, especially if you're a weather nerd like me, you want to get outside, you want to check this out. Number one, it's rain wrapped. You're not going to be able to see anything anyway. And the last place you want to be is by a window or by outside. Protect yourself, protect your family, get in your safe space. And we're going to continue to keep an eye on this at least for the next 30 minutes because it's not set to expire until 5:45. And again, this is portions of Burnett and Williamson. This is moving to the southeast about 18 miles an hour. It was moving around 4, so it's picking up in speed. It weakened, but then it strengthened once again. So let's go ahead and take a look. Here's all of that lightning. You can see there's quite a bit of instability. This is a huge cell, but the area that we're keeping an eye on is the back of the storm because that is where we could be seeing a tornado, and we do have that tornado warning. Again, this does include Burnett and just that little sliver of Williamson. So if you live in Briggs, get in your safe spot right now. If you live in Florence, get in your safe spot right now. Or if you're near those areas, make sure that you are staying cautious, that you are staying inside. And here's a look at that wider view. We have multiple severe thunderstorm warnings. We have that watch in place until 9, so we've got to stay on our toes for hours here. And taking a look, we've got multiple severe thunderstorm warnings, so we still have that one just clipping Milam, moving over to Mason, Burnett as well, but that main concern right here is that red polygon. So if you were with us about an hour ago, this had a little bit of Lampasas. No longer seeing Lampasas in that tornado warned area as this is moving over to the south, moving over to the east. So let's go ahead again and take a closer look at that. Just to the north of Briggs, there's a little bit of a hook. That's one of those indications that we look for rotation, and we are seeing a little bit of that. And here's a look at velocity. Yeah, I can start to see it does look a little bit more like it's intensifying. So now we do have, this would be the area, and it does line up with where that hook would be right around the Briggs area in Burnett, where we do have those winds going towards the radar in green, away from them in red. That is shear with those winds going in 2 different directions, and that's where you can start to see your rotation. So I could definitely see why the National Weather Service does have this for us. And I've been saying this over and over again. Make sure that you're staying in the most interior room of your house. You want to be away from those windows. A great place is maybe a hallway, closet, a bathroom. Every house is different. You know where your safe spot should be. And if you do live in Burnett, specifically near the Briggs area, you need to be in your safe place right now. The best place to be is a basement, but we don't really have those here. One of the worst places to be is outside or in a mobile home. You need to be in a very sound structure away from those windows. And again, that difference between the watch and the warning means that conditions are favorable with a watch, and then with that warning, it means that there is the potential that we could be seeing a tornado, and that's when you need to be getting inside. So here's another look. You can see a lot of instability right around Briggs, and I was showing you this little hook is lining up with where we're seeing some of that rotation on the velocity as well. So right around Briggs, this is in Burnett, barely just moving into Lampasas as well. No, out of Lampasas now, near Florence, Williamson, I should say. And this is going to continue throughout these next 45 minutes or so, or 30 minutes, I should say. So Burnett, Williamson, make sure that you're staying inside. That last warning that I just showed you, that was in Lampasas. We did have some images where there has been what looked like a tornado, luckily in a more rural area, but this just shows that this cell is capable of producing those funnel clouds. It's capable of producing a tornado, and that's exactly what we could be seeing once again. So make sure that you are staying inside. You can see around the Briggs area, we're looping this through. It is moving down to the south, moving over to the east, and we do have that level 2 risk for all of us throughout tonight. We do also have that watch in place until about 9. And we've been watching the radar, and Scott's been watching the latest, and I'm going to toss it back to you.
All right, Adelie, we've gone to the expanded coverage of what appears to be a tornado-warned storm in parts of Burnett and parts of Lampasas County. Let's go full screen on the maps here, and I can put us into warning mode. We are talking about this tornado-warned storm. It's in parts of Burnett and Williamson counties. It is a storm that has a history of producing tornadic activity, and as we look at the radar, it is pumping out an awful lot of rain and what may be a tornado here north of the Briggs area. Now, Copperas Cove is just to our north. It's north on 190 near Kempner. We've got some video out of Copperas Cove, and this is hail that was falling, and certainly looks like they had some golf ball sized hail, maybe a little bigger, just a bit ago. And it's that same storm that has migrated into both Lampasas and Burnett and now Williamson counties that has triggered a tornado warning. This is coming from the Copperas Cove Police Department, and you know, it's a pretty big hail. And a lot of these storms are going to produce some of this hail over the next several hours. Come on over to straight to the weather computer if you can in the booth. I want to show you the warnings. These are the current ones, and I'm going to give you times. The one in Mason till 6. The one in Burnett is not for the tornado. That and the tornado warned storm is 5:45. And the one moving out of Milam County here looks like about 6 o'clock. So most of this action is going to be in the next 30, 40 minutes or so that we are watching for what may be a tornadic thunderstorm. Take a look at radar, and I will put you into Williamson County. And this is getting toward the Liberty Hill area now. It's getting toward, obviously, Florence. You're getting the heavy rain, and you are in a position where I need to urge you to take some shelter. Get into the interior portion of your home and away from the windows. Get away from as many walls as you can, or put them between you. You don't want one wall between you and the outdoors. You want 3 or 4 if possible. Might be the laundry room, might be the closet, might be a hallway, might be the bathroom. Kids, bicycle helmets. Parents, bicycle helmets too. Baseball helmets, whatever you got. We are most concerned with debris in storms like this. The debris would be coming through the wall of your home, coming through the window. So even if the tornado is not at your home, the wind would bring a 2x4 or a piece of metal into your home. And that is what could cause the most damage to, obviously, you, your family, and your home. So please, take this seriously. It's not going to be a Cat 5 tornado, but it's a tornado-warned storm, and it is drifting to the southeast. Last check at about 15 miles per hour. I'm going to put this on, and you can see where the rotation is indicated. At the moment, just northeast of Briggs, just northeast of the Briggs area, the storm is a rotating thunderstorm with winds estimated, well, we're changing it now. The wind in the storm is 60+ miles per hour if you're not in the thunderstorm. The latest suggestion says the radar is giving us a hen egg, an egg-sized hail. The storm east movement now, east movement at 9. That doesn't mean you're out of the woods in Florence, doesn't mean you're out of the woods in Briggs because you're close enough to this storm, but you can see what we're dealing with here. A storm that is north of Briggs, northeast off 183, heading eastbound 195 right through Florence. Even though the storm may not be in your backyards, it is close enough to have you in the warning in northeastern Williamson County, and obviously in much of far eastern Burnett County. There are two separate storms affecting Burnett County. The one in Burnett proper does not have the warning on it. The one that's going into the northeastern section of the county and the far northwestern section of Williamson County, that's where the tornado warned storm is, and that runs now, I believe, until 5:45 p.m. This is not a situation where there may be a tornado and we're giving you a watch and we're telling you to look out. This is an imminent, occurring, or likely scenario. It's the more severe of our categories when it comes from a watch to a warning. The warning is the upgrade, and the warning in that area is what we're dealing with at the moment. You're not likely to see this tornado rotating and get great pictures of it. There's a lot of rain up there. You may see something in the distance, but we don't want you outdoors. We want you indoors and as many walls between you and the outdoors as possible. The Fox 7 WAP on your phone or your iPad or your tablet can get you the information, the warnings as they come into our office. The Weather Service puts them out within seconds. You can have them on your phone. You can have them on the tablet. We want you in the lowest level of your home. We want as many walls between you and the storm as possible. We want you covered up with a blanket, and we want you safe if you're in a mobile home and you're able to get out now. If the storm is over you, you're not going to be able to move. But if you're able to get out into a shelter, into a conventional building, into the lowest level of an apartment, now would be the proper time to do that. Let me show you the warnings again. Adelie is standing by with the radar, but I want to give you the warnings. The one we're talking about of most severity is in red. It's the tornado warned storm in parts of Burnett County. It's near the Briggs area at the moment, and it is just north and west of you in Florence. There is a lot of activity on the radar, and you can see where the strongest portion of our storm is. It is just north and northeast of Briggs, and it certainly looks like we've got some hail in this storm, quarter-sized hail, nickel-sized hail at the moment, indicated by the radar. You saw the video out of Copperas Cove, and you can hear from weather spotters that they are seeing tornado touchdowns in both Lampasas County and Burnett County this afternoon. Adelie Rowe standing by with the latest from the radar.
Yeah, and we've been keeping an eye on this for about an hour now. Started in Lampasas. We did have that a southern movement, and we're continuing to see that. So it was in Lampasas area. We have seen images. This is capable and has produced tornadoes, and now it looks like it's right over Briggs. So here's the huge supercell itself, and you can see it's also embedded in this orange polygon, and that's where we do have that severe thunderstorm warning. But it's that tornado warning. It's the back of this system. It's where we're looking at the potential for that hook echo, for that rotation right around Briggs, and it's continuing to move over to the south. So it also doesn't just include Burnett, it's also for portions of Williamson as this is continuing to move. It's picking up in speed. It did briefly weaken, but then strengthened once again, and that's something that's not uncommon to see. As we go ahead and take a look, zooming out, we do have multiple severe thunderstorm warnings that we're keeping an eye on. And it's not just those tornado warnings where you need to be staying inside, staying in your safe place. It's those severe thunderstorm warnings as well, because sometimes those straight line winds can be just as dangerous as rotating ones, especially if you're by a window and there's debris. That's one of the last places that you want to be. And we do have multiple severe thunderstorm warnings over in Milam, over in Burnett, moving over to Mason. But our main concern is this tornado warned storm in this red polygon right here, with most of the energy right now right around the Briggs area, right on top of Briggs. Briggs. You can see this is where it would be. This keeping an eye on the back of the storm where we could be seeing that tornado. So just make sure that you are staying inside. And lowest floor, most interior room, stay safe, stay weather aware as this is continuing to move over to the south, moving over to the east. So taking a closer look, there is a bit of a couplet that we are keeping an eye on as we go ahead and take a look at that velocity. So make sure that you're staying safe. The worst place to be is by those windows. Every single house is different, but a hallway is usually a great spot. Bathroom, a closet as well. Again, just make sure that you're staying in your safe place as we're going to continue to keep an eye on this tornado-warned storm right over the Briggs area as it's continuing to push over to the south and to the east. So if you live around near Briggs in Burnett County or also over in Florence, this has been producing tornadoes. There have been people that have spotted these. It's a very strong cell, and it's something to be taken seriously. So just make sure that you are staying inside. We're going to continue to keep you up to date on this until it expires. So here's a look. We do have not just that tornado warning, but multiple severe thunderstorm warnings where you need to be staying away from those doors and windows as well. Lots of lightning, and I did even see, and Scott was saying as well, hen egg sized hail, and that's about 2 inches in diameter, and that was one of the things that we were anticipating today. I was sharing one of those maps earlier with the hatched lines, which means we could be seeing 2 inches in diameter. That's exactly what we are seeing in some spots, but that tornado threat was essentially 0 today. But spring, you need to be staying weather aware. You need to be staying on your toes. The main concerns were gusty winds, hail, and lightning. Yes, we're seeing that, but we're also seeing this tornado-warned storm. And we're going to be keeping an eye on this at least for the next 15 minutes, as most of that energy now is right over Briggs. So here's that loop. I have removed some of that lightning. Also keeping an eye over near the Florence area. You guys are included in this in Williamson, and it's going to be lasting at least for the next 15 minutes. We're going to continue to keep an eye on this with you. We've got team coverage. We're going to have that once again tomorrow, as we do have that threat for some severe storms once again. But the threat today for the majority of our area is for that slight risk, and we do also have that severe thunderstorm watch that's going to be lasting until about 9 o'clock. So just make sure that you are staying weather aware. Here's another look at that radar. Right around the Briggs area is where we've been keeping an eye on this rotation. We've got that tornado warned storm until 5:45. Taking a look at that bigger picture, multiple severe thunderstorm warnings as well. It's a very active evening, so if you haven't yet, make sure that you're downloading our weather app, make sure that you're staying weather aware, and Scott has the latest. I'm tossing it back to you.
All right, Adelie, we're in springtime in Texas, and we've got some what looks like supercell thunderstorms producing what may be more tornadoes. We have reports from the Weather Service, from spotters, that they say they've seen tornadoes in Burnett County, and they've seen tornadoes this afternoon in Lampasas County, and that's why we have extended our weather coverage for you. If you're in Austin, it's a partly sunny afternoon, and you're wondering what the hubbub is about. But these storms may pop later on, and they may drift in our direction in downtown Austin. So obviously we need to take very close attention, or keep attention on this. Let me go outside and show you the radar. This is Max Storm, and some areas not a drop of rain, may not even see mostly cloudy skies. But the storm of most concern is this one drifting to the southeast out of Burnett County. It is near the Briggs area now. It's got a history of producing what looks like a tornado. There is a little weakening going on in the northern section, but there is some strengthening going on in the western section of this storm. There it is. I'll pause it for you. This is near Florence. Florence, you're not in the tornado-warned area, but you are close enough where this storm is going to pass you by if it holds on. There's an outflow coming into the Bertram area, going to run down 183 toward Liberty Hill. We're getting storms moving off the lake into Burnett. The one in Burnett proper is not in the tornado warned area. This is a situation where we're going to stay with the tornado warned storm till 5:45 unless they extend it. It's a storm that has a history of what looks like producing tornadoes. It is moving to the south-southeast, last check at about 12 or 13 miles per hour. It is a rotating thunderstorm. We do not have a confirmation of any thunderstorm, or I should say tornado, on the ground at this moment. But here is what we call the tracks mode on the radar. And there's Briggs, there's Florence. You see the little icon there. That is the location that we are indicating there may be rotation. And rotation within the clouds sometimes, not always, but sometimes spawns thunderstorms that produce tornadoes. And should this storm be producing a tornado, even if it's not overhead, you may see debris flying quarter, half mile, 2x4s, poles, all the exterior lumber or trees that are available for a tornado to pick up will come rifling through a window or rifling through drywall or rifling through the side of a mobile home. So if you're able to get down 195, if you're able to get down south on 183, do it now. Get away from this storm. Get away from a mobile home. If you're in a conventional home and you're in an area where you can be interior room, that's the right spot. Away from the outside, as many walls as you can. You got the outside wall, you got the hallway wall, you got the closet wall, you got a bathroom wall. The more walls, the more likely whatever comes through is going to stop. Throw a blanket over your head, give yourself an extra layer of protection. Bike helmet, baseball helmet, football helmet on top of your head, on top of the kids, be in the bathtub. Don't make it a scary situation for yourself. Have your tornado kit available. And my kit has some snacks in it, and it has a video game for the kids if they have a handheld game, or at least a book and a flashlight. Severe weather is breaking out across isolated sections of our viewing area, and the radar is certainly lighting up. The rotation we're getting is in the Briggs area. The rotation within the clouds, although I now am looking at what appears to be additional rotation north of Liberty Hill. So now we've got two storms where the radar is indicating there is rotation in the clouds. It is not telling us there's a tornado on the ground in either spot. It is showing rotation. Most thunderstorms rotate. Most thunderstorms rotate. Few thunderstorms bring tornadoes, but the one that we had earlier near Copperas Cove, near Kempner, apparently did bring a small tornado. Most of this area in this vicinity of Burnett County, north of Briggs, is very rural, but there's a lot of communities in the Briggs area, plenty around Florence and Bertram and Liberty Hill. I would just be monitoring this storm as we go through the next, let's say 2 or 3 hours at least. National Weather Service has blanketed most of our counties with a severe thunderstorm watch, and you can see it here. It's the one up to the north, and look how dead center of that watch is where these storms are blowing up. There's going to be the threat this evening. It'll die out as we go into the later hours, and then tomorrow we'll bring another threat as that boundary moves on down, the cold front. Severe possible tonight, severe possible tomorrow. Mid-80s on the high side with a real good rain chance. Team coverage continues right now. Adderley is standing by at the weather wall with more on this storm and the storms around it on radar. Adderley.
Yeah, it's definitely a very active evening, and we do have that severe thunderstorm watch in effect for our entire viewing area until 9. But the main area that we are keeping a very close eye on is right around the Briggs area. This is in Burnett. It's also pushing over into Williamson. So if you live near Florence, you live near Briggs, make sure that you're taking this very seriously and that you are inside, maybe watching us on your iPad, the most interior room of your house, lowest floor, away from windows. We've got that tornado warned storm right here in this red polygon, again for Burnett and for Williamson, and now it's just extended a little bit. As Scott was saying, it did look like there was some rotation with this second cell to the south, and it looks like the National Weather Service is seeing the same thing. So now we have two areas of rotation. We have two tornado warned storms. This first one over in Burnett pushing into Williamson. It's going to be lasting until about 5:45. Taking a look at that bigger picture, just right to the north, right around Liberty Hill, pushing into Williamson, where now we've got that secondary tornado warned storm with two areas of rotation. This is continuing to push over to the south. If you were watching earlier, it was in Lampasas where we have seen images of tornadoes that did touch down, and it's capable of continuing to produce those. So this is something that we need to be taking very seriously. And it's not just Burnett and into Williamson where we're seeing severe weather. We have multiple severe thunderstorms in effect as well, with lots of hail. I've even seen reports of 2 inches in diameter. That's about the size of a hen egg, so very large hail, lots of lightning, gusty winds, and even some rotation and those potential for those tornadoes to continue. Going ahead and taking a look, here's all of that lightning, those two areas of rotation, so around Briggs as well as moving over to Bertram, Florence as well. You all need to be staying inside of your safe space. This is along the 183 corridor as well, around Burnett and also into portions of Williamson, where we have not just one but two areas of rotation that we're keeping a very close eye on. So if you do live in these areas, make sure that you are inside your safe space right now. Going ahead and taking a look at velocity, this is something that I have been keeping a very close eye on. Here's that first ones lasting about these next 5 minutes or so, but as you can see, it has been extended for that second area a little bit further to the south. So we're seeing those indications of rotation. We've been saying this over and over again, but it is so important to know where safe space is inside of your house, and every single house is different. Every single apartment is different, but you want to make sure that you're on the lowest floor. Sometimes a closet's a great place to be, a hallway, maybe even a bathroom. If it's away from those exterior walls, go ahead and grab a bicycle helmet, or if you don't have those, pots and pans to protect your head, pillows, get in the bathtub. As Scott said, maybe grab some snacks and hang out in there with your kids, with your pets. Just stay safe, stay weather aware, and we're going to continue to keep a very close eye on this for you, because we do have that severe thunderstorm watch, meaning that conditions are favorable, and we're already seeing that, and that's lasting until about 9. But now we've got two areas that we're keeping a very close eye on, and here's Scott with the latest.
All right, we've got an area of nasty weather across most of the region, at least isolated. Now, some of these storms are producing some hail, some are bringing some very gusty winds and some heavy rain, but not all of them have the potential right now for tornadic activity. We do have two tornado warnings. Let me show them to you. And remember, the warning is the most active of this. And I know it's hard to see, but it's parts of Burnett and Williamson County that are in these warnings. There's two distinct spots that may not only have the hail and the wind, but may be tornadic in development. One here near the Briggs area appears to be weakening. One here south of Briggs, north of Bertram, seems to be strengthening just a bit. We do not have an indication that either of these storms at the moment have a tornado on the ground. What we do have confirmation of, photos that look like we've seen tornadoes in both Burnett and Lampasas counties today. Here's a track, and this is the strongest of the storms, now near Buchanan Dam. And let's see what we got with it. Looks like estimated hail could be as large as billiard balls. Let's go back to that. There you go. Moving east at 10, could be in Burnett by, well, oh, sometimes the computer just wants to update by itself. Grapefruit size hail. I'm not saying there's grapefruit size hail falling, but the storm has the potential to bring hail that large, and we're talking 3+ inches in diameter. The motion is very slow, southeast at 5. Is not heading directly toward Burnett anymore, but this is a storm that has been sort of wobbling back and forth over the last better part of an hour and a half now. I'm going to zoom it out. I'm going to give you the radar motion. I'm going to give you the warnings first. Orange, severe thunder. Red, tornado. And warning is the higher of the two. If you're in Austin, if you're in Dripping Springs, if you're in San Marcos, you're wondering what we're talking about. We've got a nasty bunch of storms that are to your north. And the ones in Lampasas County, it rained so hard, they issued a flood warning up that way as well. So we've got a tornado-warned storm. It's now one storm. It's now one warning right here. And it goes until 6:30. It includes all of northwestern Williamson County and parts of eastern Burnett counties. This is the time, if you're in a mobile home, to get out and find some sturdy shelter. If you're in an apartment, if you're in a house, if you're in a condo, if you're in a duplex, lowest level of that, away from the windows. You want to give the storm and you the most walls you can find. The more walls between you and the outdoors is where you want to be. Be it a closet, be it a bathroom, be it a hallway, something that will put as many walls between you and this storm as possible, because the storm may have winds of 80, 90, 100 miles per hour. And even if the storm hits 2 blocks, 3 blocks, 4 blocks away from you, it's flying debris that we are most concerned about. Tornado watch means it's possible. Tornado warning means it is already occurring or it's imminent. So this is the time you're going to your safe spot. This is not the, hey, we got to get ready to go to our safe spot time. This is go to the safe spot time if you're in the warning portion of these counties, both Williamson and Burnett counties. Eastern Burnett, western Williamson. And I will show you the radar, and you'll see what we're talking about. There you go. Storm's approaching Liberty Hill. Storm is now back building a bit toward Kingsland. That's not the warned storm. It's the one here in Bertram and near Briggs that have the warning on it. Although, just as I say that, they put a, we call it a skit. That's what I called it at school. A skit on the storm northeast of Burnett County. It is saying that this storm has grapefruit-sized hail. We have some pictures of what looks like either a tornado forming or a tornado moving back up. This is in Briggs. Chad sent that to us near Briggs, and that's in the distance. That one looks like it's probably hitting the ground, and there may be some debris with it. If you sort of look where the cone is and just to the left of it, that appears to be what could be some debris. It may just be dirt and trees, hopefully. It hit in a non-populated area, but that could be something. Now, that looks like possibly a tornado with a rain shaft to me. It's a bit wide, wider than I would have expected to be just the tornado. That's coming from Hanna near Briggs as well. Briggs is in Burnett County in the northeastern section of the county. So we have what looks like confirmation of tornadoes this afternoon. We have what looks like confirmation of thunderstorms that are producing tornadoes, and that is why we are on the air with you on team coverage. Let me sum this up again. Come on out on camera 3 for me if you can. We're talking about several thunderstorms this afternoon that are dropping what may be severe hail, meaning quarter-sized or larger. A few of these storms are showing rotation that could translate or slide into what may be a tornado. We have tornado confirmations from spotters reporting to the National Weather Service near Kempner in Lampasas County and north of the Briggs area in Burnett County. And you saw the photos there, what appears to be several views of a tornado, a rather well-defined tornado, in Briggs. Let's go to the radar. Here's Max Storm. And again, in Austin, you're wondering why we're talking. If you're in Fredericksburg, it's a partly cloudy afternoon. If you're over Lake Buchanan, you're getting blasted by wind and hail right now. If you're in the Florence area, it is either coming your way or it is very close. There are several storms out there with signs of at least some rotation. One particular area at the moment, parts of Burnett and Williamson County, under that tornado warning, and this goes until 6:30 this evening. It includes western sections of Williamson, eastern sections of Burnett. It does not include Burnett proper, although you are in a thunderstorm warning situation. This also is part of a bigger storm system that has triggered two separate outbreaks of what looks like severe weather. We've got a dry line to the west. We've got a boundary from storms yesterday to our north, and there's a cold front even farther up to the north. So what we're dealing with, multiple thunderstorms, some of which may be producing tornadoes. Team coverage continues this afternoon into the evening. Adelie Rowe is with us with more from Max Storm Radar.
Yeah, and as we go ahead and take a look at that satellite and radar, this has now actually been extended as it continues to move to the south. At first, it was just until 5:45, but now, as you can see, it's later than that, and it's continuing to move to the south, to the east. So now we've got that tornado-warned area still in Burnett and Williamson, but moving to the south, and now we have that tornado warning until 6:30. So it's been well over an hour that we've been keeping an eye on rotation. As Scott has shown you, there have been images of funnel clouds and what also looks like tornadoes, because that funnel cloud is that funnel-shaped cloud, but once it touches the ground, that's when it's considered a tornado, and that's exactly what we could be looking at right now on that satellite and radar. We've got a lot of instability, a lot of those images out of Briggs. Also, Bertram, you do have that potential where you could be seeing the tornado as well. You're inside of this red polygon just outside of the Florence area, just to the north of Liberty Hill. Again, this does include Burnett and Williamson counties, and it's going to be lasting until 6:30. So for the next 40 minutes, or until this is set to expire, we're going to continue to stay on air and tell you the latest. And as I said, it's been well over an hour that we've been keeping an eye on that potential for tornadoes, seeing images of them. Started in the Lampasas area, southeastern Lampasas, and it's just continued to slowly but surely move over to the south. So that's the main thing that we're keeping a very close eye on, this red polygon, this tornado warned storm until 6:30 for portions of Burnett and over into Williamson County. But as you can see, there's also several strong storms, severe thunderstorm warnings in Mason, in Burnett as well, and even into Williamson. And as we go ahead and take a look right now, it does look like they're starting to drop that tornado warning, or at least that's what I'm seeing here. Scott has the latest from the National Weather Service computer right in front of him. Are you seeing the same thing I'm seeing, Scott?
Yes, they have canceled the tornado warning for the moment. We've been through this situation a little earlier. Tornado warned storm went down to a severe thunderstorm and then went back up to tornado warning. But the rotation now is more broad. We are not seeing what looks like any tornadoes on the ground. So it has been replaced with a severe thunderstorm warning. Parts of Mason, parts of Llano, several parts of Burnett, and parts of northeastern Williamson and northwestern Williamson and far eastern Milam counties, all under severe thunderstorm warnings. We are dealing with several supercell thunderstorms, which are producing heavy rain, producing what looks like large hail and very gusty winds. Are we ready to head here? I'm not sure. We're going to stay with me? Okay. All right. We're going to stay with me for a little while longer as we watch the radar and watch the indications. Let me put on the tracks mode, and you can see where, well, notice here, the only little spinny icon is north of Buchanan Dam. And this is not showing a tornado necessarily. This is showing some rotation in the atmosphere. In fact, the Weather Service says this is not a tornado, but what it is a storm that may be producing some baseball-sized hail. Baseball-sized hail possible near Buchanan Dam and just to the east of you in Bluffton in Burnett County. This is north of 29, and it's on the county line with Llano, although the strongest part of the storm is definitely in Burnett County. Let's put it into motion, and what I will show you is a situation with a lot of lightning as well. Awful lot of lightning in that northeastern section of Burnett and northwestern section of Williamson counties. Here's the wrap-up on the warnings. No tornado warning at the moment. No tornado warning at the moment. We have confirmation from the Weather Service that we've had what looks like at least a couple of spots with golf ball-sized hail, possibly baseball-sized hail, and possibly tornadoes touching the ground. But at the moment, we've got 4 active warnings for severe thunderstorms, meaning quarter-sized hail, and meaning at least quarter-size hail, and larger than that possible, as well as 60 to 70 mile per hour straight line winds. Radar time, this is Max Storm, and it is lighting up. What I want to give your attention to is look how long, this is the last 2-hour loop, okay? I'm gonna go 4 hours back now, all right? This is 4 hours back on the loop. And look how long it has been raining. We'll take you back into the 2:30, 2:45 time frame in parts of Lampasas and Burnett counties. It has been pouring that way. Flood advisories are going up. Not a flood warning, but a flood advisory going up. And as you look here on the conventional map, I could show you that flood warnings include parts of Lampasas County already. Severe thunderstorm warnings in Mason, Llano, Burnett, Williamson, and Milam counties. Severe thunderstorm watches include the Austin area. And you can see how isolated this is. There are some areas with absolutely nothing and others seeing what looks like golf ball and baseball sized hail. Look how these storms are just blowing up well east of the dry line and over a boundary in this vicinity. This cold front is likely to be here tomorrow. So we may have a repeat going on as we head into the day on Friday with more of these supercell thunderstorms. And if you check out the STP from the Doppler, this is how much rain has fallen if you count the storms from earlier today as well as last night. Some spots have picked up 3 and 4 inches of rain, Burnett and Williamson counties. That's why we'll be watching tomorrow for the chance of what may be some flooding rain. Speaking of Williamson County, Lauren Rangel is our Williamson County reporter. And
on
she's
your side, this is Fox 7 Austin News at 6.
Hey, Scott. Yeah, we left Austin almost an hour ago now. We're nearing the Leander area, and the sky is changing by the second. I want to give you a look at what we're seeing from our news unit. This is the side profile on the driver's side. Leaving Austin, Cedar Park, still a little bit sunny, but as we head down 183 towards where these storms at, just watch how dark it's about to get. Right ahead, 183, that's where those storms are. We're starting to get a little bit of sprinkles right now. They hit just maybe a few minutes ago. And again, as you've been talking, we've had viewers send in photos of what looks like to be tornadoes near, or a tornado near Briggs. We did hear from the National Weather Service about a tornado in Briggs near Burnett County. Also, according to one of our weather spotters, there was a tornado spotted near Kempner in Lampasas County. We are also hearing about some hail, and I want to have our producers pop up a video that we got from Copperas Cove Police sharing video of hail. It looks like to be maybe dime-sized hail. As you mentioned, Scott, this storm does have the potential for hail up to grapefruit size. So super important that if you're in this area, you're watching the weather, you're following along with us, and of course staying away from any windows and seeking shelter. But we are continuing our way to Briggs right now. We don't know the extent of any of the damage. It is a very rural area, so there's a chance that it could be trees and land. Unfortunately, it could also be houses, and we hope that it's not, but we're going to continue to head out that way safely, and we'll keep you guys updated about how severe the damage is once we get there. I'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
On your side, this is Fox 7 Austin News at 6.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Rebecca Thomas. Severe storms have already hit parts of central Texas this evening, and the National Weather Service has confirmed a tornado touchdown in northeast Burnett County. Chief Meteorologist Scott Fisher has been tracking the radar and joins us with the latest.
Hey, Rebecca. Yeah, it's been a stormy afternoon for some of us, not for all of us, because these are very isolated thunderstorms, but they are most certainly severe thunderstorms, and in some cases earlier, possibly tornadic thunderstorms. We even have the confirmation from the Weather Service that we've had at least one, possibly two tornadoes touch down this afternoon. Let me take you full screen to the warning graphic, and this is where these storms have warnings. Parts of Llano County, parts of Williamson County, parts of Burnett County, parts of Milam County, all under severe thunderstorm warnings. The one to the east is till 7 o'clock. The Llano storm is till about 6:45, as is the Williamson County storm. So we've got a couple more hours with this for sure as we go through the next bit. Here's radar. This is Max Storm and the last 2-hour loop, and violent thunderstorms are occurring. The one coming out of Lampasas County earlier and dropped to the Briggs area, that's where we saw the tornado, at least indicated by a photo. Florence, you're not under a tornado warning right now, but it is raining, and it is raining even more heavily just to your west. This is north of you in Andice and well north of you and west of you in Georgetown. If we go to the Briggs area, you're just getting heavy rain at the moment with an awful lot of lightning. Strongest storm is over Buchanan Dam, over Lake Buchanan at the moment. This storm is indicated at least golf ball, potentially baseball-sized hail. Doesn't mean it's happening, but the indication is we can see that as we speak. Let me pop that on. That is what our radar is telling us may be in the cloud. Doesn't mean it's hitting the ground, but it's showing us the potential for baseball-sized hail. Now, Travis County is not seeing any rain at all, but you are under a severe thunderstorm watch. These storms are slowly drifting to the south, and by maybe 7 o'clock tonight, we may be looking at storms in and around the Austin area if they hold on. They're heat-driven, so once we lose the daytime heating, these storms will fade out, but we've got another couple of hours of daylight. You can see the cold front to the north comes Friday. The dry line to the west stays west, but those storms are heading in our direction, as will new boundaries, which means at least until 9 o'clock tonight, we will be talking about the potential for some strong and severe thunderstorms. Much more coming up in just a couple of minutes.
In other news tonight, the biannual point-in-time count report has been released. It's an estimate of the number of homeless people on a single night in Austin. About 1,000 more homeless people were counted compared to 2023, but 600 more people are in shelters. The count happened back in January. Since it is only one night, it's likely an undercount. Volunteers counted more than 3,200 people. Roughly half were unsheltered and the other half were in shelters. The city says it still needs $100 million in funding to tackle homelessness. That includes everything from prevention to shelter beds to permanent supportive housing.